Baldur's Gate 3 got me back into gaming. Rewind to about 1 year ago, me, halfway through my master's degree, home for the holidays, stressed and looking to relax over break. Especially since I had started grad school, I hadn't been gaming much. But even more so, I'd found my passion for the medium waning in recent years. Perhaps I was simply growing older, moving on from my childhood hobbies. I was aware of Baldur's Gate 3, and through the strong recommendation of one friend, decided to buy it. I was pretty sure I'd enjoy the game. After all, I do love RPGs and have played a lot of D&D throughout my life. But the experience I had with Baldur's Gate reignited my passion for gaming by reminding me what video games can truly be. So let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3.
This is your end.
Hello. I'm Gale of Waterdeep.
To us.
Baldur's Gate 3, made by Larian Studios, is an absolute return to the greatest the RPG genre has to offer. The world it features is immense and immersive, the characters are complex, and the game is beautiful. Your choices throughout the game genuinely matter. You'll make decisions in Act 1 that will come back to your benefit or detriment in Act 3. This makes the world feel alive and interconnected, which should be the goal of every good RPG. Exploring Faerun is a pleasure, and you undoubtedly won't see everything your first time through, making the game eminently replayable. In fact, Larian is confident enough to let you miss large chunks of content, including entire maps and companion characters. By the way, before we really dig in, there won't be major spoilers in this video. Most of the footage I'm using is from Act 1, and I won't be discussing story beats or plot points from later in the game, though I may vaguely reference them. So with that out of the way, let's chat. One of the things that makes the world so immersive is the fantastic character writing. The characters, especially our companions, feel like real people, with their own opinions, flaws, and decisions to make. Larian does a fantastic job fleshing these characters out, avoiding the one-dimensional character writing so common in media. Some of the companions start out downright hostile to you.
Not a sound. Not if you want to keep that darling neck of yours.
But really develop over time as your relationship to them evolves. Larian is willing to depict genuine character arcs, highlighting real change over time. Many stories are too afraid to give their main characters flaws and vices due to the risk that you might not like them right away. Larian isn't worried about that. They trust that the player will take the time to explore these relationships if they so desire, and the player has a real ability to influence the paths our companions take. You can encourage or convince them to make certain decisions while not overriding their personalities or opinions. Your companions will voice their own opinions frequently, disagreeing with both you and each other.
My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
I generally liked to allow my companions to make their own decisions, but as a credit to Larian's captivating storytelling, there were many times when I felt strongly compelled to intervene and try to influence their choices. This is because those choices actually impacted the story, and the consequences were very real. The arcs of our origin characters are incredibly written, with powerful emotional climaxes and satisfying payoffs. The individual questlines of each companion seamlessly integrate with the game's main storyline, which only further adds to the immersion you feel. Everything feels interconnected, as it tends to in real life. Visually, the characters have attracted a lot of positive attention across the internet, if you know what I mean.
So eager.
But Larian has done more than just make hot companion characters. The design of each companion really fits their personality, as do the character designs more broadly. The alien-looking Githyanki really feel unfamiliar and foreign to the material plane. Astarion reflects the self-centered sophistication of a Baldurian noble.
Is that so? We clearly move in different circles.
Character changes are even sometimes depicted visually. Will's defiance of his demonic patron is visible through his new horns and blood-red eye, and Shadowheart's mid-game personality shift is accompanied by a new hairstyle. Through both design and writing, Larian expertly characterizes our companions. Larian avoids the juvenile tone and Marvel-esque writing of many games, while still providing plenty of light and comedic moments. This allows you to actually take the story seriously. The dramatic beats hit and hit hard without the game taking itself too seriously. Baldur's Gate can just as easily prompt tears as it can laughter. The writing is complex and flexible enough to accommodate substantial player decision-making. The variety of decisions and different outcomes make the game incredibly replayable, and y'all know I've played through many times, though I always remember my first playthrough fondly. The story is excellently reinforced by the beautiful art and music throughout the game. The game offers a variety of stunning settings, from the picturesque Emerald Grove to the bustling city of Baldur's Gate. The Underdark and Shadow-cursed lands feel appropriately shadowy and ominous. The soundtrack goes from uplifting to threatening and sinister. Some of the more ambient tracks which you've been hearing throughout this video are also excellent. I won't spoil it, but those that have played the game know there's even a late game boss who dramatically sings his own theme song. Basically, your eyes and ears will be very happy you've played Baldur's Gate. With all that, only now will I begin to cover the gameplay. I've always been somewhat neutral on turn-based combat, however I've been a big D&D enjoyer since high school, so I was pretty excited to get into Baldur's Gate gameplay, and I was not disappointed. While nothing will match a real tabletop role-playing experience, Baldur's Gate is as close as you can get in video game form. The mechanics are directly drawn from D&D 5e, and the amount of freedom offered to the player allows you to make all the bad decisions you usually would while playing D&D with friends.
A little further.
Volo tears the pick from your brain with a violent jerk. Your eye plops down into the mud.
Tret.
Something I greatly appreciate is that the enemies don't scale to your level. I really don't like it when games have scaling enemies, as it devalues player progression and flattens out the world. As I level, I want to feel like I can dominate enemies that previously gave me trouble, and be able to challenge enemies that I once stood no chance against. This requires the developer to be creative enough to come up with new enemies as you level, rather than simply scaling the same foes you've been facing all game. Looking at you, Bethesda. This also means that, at lower levels, you will encounter areas and enemies that are too tough for you. Some people seem to think this is a bad thing, as it can limit exploration. Well, I love this. It makes the world feel real, as you're not able to access everything at once. Additionally, there are a few things more satisfying than overcoming a challenge that you are deeply underleveled for. Larian avoids any potential pitfalls through their 3-act structure, which allows player freedom while not compromising on game design. Through the gameplay, Larian continues their quest to empower the player, centering player decision-making and accommodating freedom of choice. This game has revitalized my interest in gaming, and hopefully it can do the same for the industry broadly. Every RPG from now on is going to be compared to Baldur's Gate, as we've already seen with the recent release of Dragon Age Veilguard. In my opinion, it's a return to form, standing among the greatest modern RPGs such as Fallout New Vegas, The Witcher 3, and Disco Elysium, which I'm currently playing through on the channel right now. Ideally, new games will try to follow in Larian's footsteps, though they do represent a remarkable and unusual success story. Whatever happens next, I'm just glad I was able to enjoy such an incredible experience, which has meant so much to me and many others. If you agree, feel free to leave a comment down below, leave a like on the video, and please subscribe to the channel. With all that, I hope you guys are having a great day today, and I'll see you all again next time. Goodbye.